Your name?
Aashima Goyal.
Aashima Goyal. You are from Faridabad.
Yes.
You've been working
Yes.
with the ICICI Bank and the École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne and the Concordia University in Quebec, Montreal as a research assistant. But you were product manager with the ICICI Bank. And you are a BTech in biochemical engineering and biotechnology, that's right?
Yes, sir.
From the IIT Delhi.
Yes.
Now, this is your second attempt.
Yes.
And your first attempt, were you called for the interview?
No, sir.
So this is your first attempt at an interview.
Yes, sir.
Your choice of service is IAS, followed by police service, followed by Indian Revenue Service, IT, and then followed by the Indian Foreign Service.
Yes.
This is right?
Yes.
Now, the first question obviously isn't probably as you would have expected. But I could ask you that when you have achieved very high qualifications in a leading institution in the country, in a field like biochemical engineering and biotechnology,
Yes.
which is a highly prized discipline, highly prized and highly priced also, I must say, in the sense that you can earn a great deal by
That's
working with various leading institutions across the world with this kind of discipline. And also having had the experience of working with multinational organizations like the École Polytechnique and the Concordia University on salaries much higher than you can expect in the starting in the civil services. Why is it that you want to join the civil services? And secondly, why you should want to join the IAS? And then, following that up, the singularly uncreative service like the income tax department of the IRS. So you, there's really two questions. The second question has two parts. So let me know, firstly, why you want to join government service at all, when the choice to a layman is so obvious that you will be able to lead a much more comfortable life outside government.
Yes, sir. So I believe that for me personally, IIT has given me a lot of space for exploration of my own interests. And there were times when I used to teach in a nearby slum also, nearby IIT in Munerka. So we used to go daily there to teach some of the slum children. Also, I taught some of the staff children from IIT who could not clear IIT JEE. So I used to just guide them. So there I realized my calling for doing something which is related to society. And I think, and I from the very beginning, I believe in the saying that the value of a life is not by the amount of money that you earn, but it is by the number of lives that you touch. So that is something that actually prompted me to go for a platform where I can make a huge impact. And I think civil services is that platform that provides me that a platform to facilitate and to connect with the society in a meaningful way.
Very good. That raises another question in my mind,
Yes.
but that question I will ask you once you finished answering my second question.
Yes, sir. So now why IAS? Because I think if you want to actually, if somebody wants to actually make a difference on the ground and make life better for people, I think IAS is the service that can help you actually connect on the ground with the people. And it provides you a platform for collective action also. You act as a facilitator. Being an administrator, you act as a facilitator, and I think that that is something that is not available in other avenues that were available to me.
And there is a sub-question to this,
Yes.
the IRS.
Yes, sir. So, sir, IRS, it is actually a relative preference for me. I think IAS and IPS are those services that I would be willing to join, but given if I am not able to clear and given a choice, then I think IRS is equally a regarding service, because these are the people who do not work at the forefront, but what goes in the forefront is through the money that comes when you actually that money. There are people involved who actually are involved in collecting that money, and I think IRS is that service that will actually translate into the welfare for the people. So,
But okay, even if I accept that argument, the skills that you have acquired,
yes, sir.
the amount of money, maybe your own or whatever, but the nation's money has been spent in your education.
Yes, sir.
How do you apply that in a service like the IRS?
So I think the institutions like IIT or whatever experience that I've got, even in the foreign universities, it is not just about the technical skills that I have got. I have developed a passion for work, for dedicated work and for meticulousness, and I think that will translate in any of the profession that I take. And secondly, there are some transferable abilities apart from my core abilities, which is agility, which is flexibility, accepting to the environment, adapting to the environment, and I think these are the abilities that will help me perform better in whatever task I take.
So if you have a corrupt environment,
Yes.
then you'll adapt to it.
No, sir. In that environment, I'll first apply my sense of prudence, whether it is a right environment, whether it is an upright environment. So then I will accordingly take my course of action, and obviously in a corrupt environment, the presumed course of action is not to adapt to it but to change it.
Good. But then let me come back to the question that I told you that your answer to the first question had raised. We all, when we joined the service,
Yes, sir.
had this wish, this desire that we are going to bring change. We will use our technical skills, the fact that we have been good at our studies, have been outstanding in our academic work. We'll bring all this to bear to change governance and to change government. The results of our efforts are there for all of us to see, including yourself, who is now saying that I feel that I can bring about some change. What makes you think that you can bring about the change when there have been thousands of similar dreamers and aspirants who joined the service up to now and have not succeeded in bringing about that change?
Sir, firstly, I would like to say that it is not that change is not happening. Change is happening, and we must recognize the efforts of those people who come into the service and do and dedicatedly do something for the service. So change is there, but this change is not quantifiable when you can say that this is the ultimate level of change that we have attained. It is a continuous process, and sir, I think I would be able to contribute in my own manner, in my own ways, through this service. So India is a developing country, and there is still a lot of scope for improvement, for development, for people on the ground. And I think I will be just one more thread in that direction, and I would like to utilize my skills in that particular direction.
So you mean that governance today is not the same as governance when I joined, and that is as a result of the efforts of people like myself. That is what you're saying. But now there's need for further improvement, which you will bring about.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's a hopeful note. I'll leave it at that.
Aashima, you have a very good academic career. You did your BTech in biochemical engineering and biotechnology,
Yes.
8.79 GPA, and then you also did your MTech
Yes,
in biochemical engineering. This is a very fast emerging and good field.
thanks.
You also did research at two places you went out to do research. One was in Concordia University, Quebec, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you also went to the École Polytechnique Fédérale de la Lausanne, which is one of the famous, world famous in Switzerland. Don't you think if you had continued your career in research with PhD and working in this field, it would have brought you more satisfaction, laurels, as well as ultimately some money?
Sir, I think, sir, the time at IIT, it gave me a lot of time for introspection, and it was very clear in my mind that money is not something that gives me immense satisfaction. I have been abroad also, so there is a sense of curiosity into people, as in what is that abroad life in abroad is good. So I have experienced that myself. What interested me was my work and not much of the difference that India or the other developed countries have. So that was very clear from the very beginning for me that money is not something that I want to run after. Then secondly, why not continue a career in biotechnology? Because I thought I could make a better use of my skills and my motivation was to more work in the side of society and governance, utilizing governance as a platform for collaborative action.
Can you give me some names of scientists who have scored the Nobel Prize, and give me name of administrators who have got the Nobel Prize? The Nobel generally goes to the scientists
Yes,
and
sir,
humanists.
that is true,
That is the highest prize in the world, right?
That is true.
So I'm not talking of money only. I'm talking of your achievements and personal satisfaction and doing something for, you developed an ECG machine. Somebody who must have developed an ECG
Yes,
machine. He was a biomedical engineer. And imagine what change it made in the world, right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, you have the ultrasound. So somebody did it. It was not an Indian, unfortunately. They were all foreigners. But when an Indian gets a chance to do it, which you have,
You join the service.
you want to join as an administrative officer.
I think, sir, we should not see this in isolation. There are people who are more passionate towards research and science than me. There are people who are more passionate towards the social service or being in the administration. So it is true that I have good things in the research background also, but I think what drives the person for long is the passion, and there is some reason behind that passion. And I think for me it was to be working on the ground in the society.
But this shows that you were very passionate about your research and scientific discovery.
Yes, sir.
And I believe how many people would be there in India who have done MTech in biomedical science and who have been abroad? I think you would be able to count them on your fingers, even in the IIT.
Yes, so that is true. But I think that this is also a result of not just not my passion as such, but my meticulousness about the work, whatever I take. So IIT provided me a huge opportunity. So I wanted to make a full use of whatever opportunities it provided me by going abroad, by exploring different dimensions. And So exploring myself was a part of this whole
So
process.
don't you want to go abroad and become a famous scientist and then come back to India and maybe get the Nobel Prize and start an institute of world famous level? No.
So I think if we compare compare the two sides, I will lean on this side more.
Okay.
Okay. So you come from a locality called Bhimka Park.
Yes, sir.
How many beams are you aware of?
So I'm only recalling one beam from Mahabharata.
Not the Chota Bhima.
How about Bhimrao Ambedkar?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now that you have recalled Bhim from Mahabharata,
Yes, sir.
so tell me something about him.
So he was the second of the Pandavas, and he was known for his physical strength, and he was also known for his angry nature.
Okay. So is it part of history or mythology?
So I believe it is a part of mythology.
What is the difference between the two?
So, in my opinion, history is something that has occurred, and mythology is something that has that may not have actually occurred, but is taught to give message to the people or to the world of some inspirations and some moral lessons that one could take from.
But you know the history, the entire history that we are aware of, is based on written evidences. Anything that is not deciphered or that is not written is not treated as part of history. So are you saying that that becomes mythology? It may or may not have occurred. So all that becomes mythology?
Sir, I'm not completely.
Alright. So, you know how big is the Indian economy?
Yes, sir.
How big?
So, $3.7 trillion.
Okay. And you have written in there that your mother is a housewife.
Yes, sir.
So what percentage of that economy is contributed by the housewife?
So if we, the way we count the economy, as of now we do not take the contribution of housewives into that economy.
Okay. It should be accounted for.
It definitely should be accounted.
Okay. You have done biotechnology,
Yes.
biochemistry, engineering. So what is novel coronavirus?
Sir, I think the novelty here is in the way of spread of the virus.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty much it.
No, sir.
Okay.
So the virus belongs to the SARS family, but the SARS was more dangerous, but it was less prone to spreading. But while the novel coronavirus is spreading faster, but it's less fatal.
So there's a story going around that it is the result of some experiment that Chinese were doing on biochemical, in fact biological warfare, and that project has gone haywire. Do you subscribe to that conspiracy theory?
So I have not heard of it.
Okay. Okay. So you said that you sing ghazals and the Bollywood songs.
Yes.
Right? So there is some kind of practice going on wherein the ghazals are taken and adapted into Bollywood songs.
Yes, sir.
So do you like that phenomena?
So I think, yeah, I appreciate that phenomena, sir.
Okay. Even though the originality is lost.
That is true, sir, but I think the way ghazals are losing significance today, most of the youth doesn't even know the difference between a ghazal or a song. So, and this is such a heritage that we should preserve. I think this is one way to bring youth into touch with the ghazals. So, and sir, apart from movies also, we should also generate individual platform for ghazals. So that is also there. So if we are apprehensive of the loss of the ghazal emotions or the uniqueness of ghazal, I think that will not be the case.
Any difference that you can make out in ghazals and Bollywood songs?
Yes, sir. So basically, the type of instruments that are used.
Lyrical style.
Yes. So when a ghazal is sung, it is actually creative delivery. So what I mean by creative delivery is that each part of each line is delivered every time in a different manner. But that is not the case with songs. And that creative delivery actually is the essence of ghazal, because it makes you feel that how the same lyrics can be delivered in different ways. So I think that's the difference, which is because in Bollywood.
So is the case with Bollywood. Old songs recycled into remixes.
Haven't
Remixes.
Bollywood songs always been based on ghazal?
No, sir.
Isn't it, for example, a song like Chaudhary Ka Chand?
Yes, sir.
Is that not a ghazal?
I think that is a ghazal-based song, but I am not sure if all the ghazal songs are based, or all the Bollywood songs are based on ghazals.
Okay. Aashima, what do you understand by feminism?
Ma'am, in my opinion, feminism is the process of voicing the concerns of women at present. And we all know that there is a phenomenon of gender inequality in our country as well as in the world. So feminism is to voice the fact that they have to be treated equally.
So feminism is just voicing out, so to speak. It's just continuous complaining that we are not getting our rights, we are not getting our rights. Is it just that?
I think, ma'am, it also involves the voicing plus self-strengthening of women as such. So, be it the formation of SHGs, be it the protesting of
I'm talking about
issues.
feminism as an ideology. What does it mean?
Ma'am, I am aware of this much only.
Alright. Okay, then how is it different from women empowerment? Feminism and women empowerment. How are they related or different, whatever stand you take?
Ma'am,
What is women empowerment?
women empowerment is something that that gives choice to women to exercise, be it in the field of whatever the work they want to take, wherever they want to go, their role in the decision making and setting a direction to the country. So I think if they are able to exercise that in an independent manner, then I would call it a women empowerment.
And what is restricting their power to make choices? What is restricting?
I think from the if we trace the history, one of the very crucial factor that is hindering the women empowerment is the patriarchal character of Indian society. So I think that is an important hindrance.
What else?
What do you call it?
Okay, no problem. You've had your optional subject as chemistry.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the principle of chemistry, or how would you use chemistry, knowledge of chemistry in administration?
Ma'am, in chemistry, there is there are different reagents that have to when they get mixed up, then they result into a particular derivative. So I think in chemistry also the outcome that comes is through the art of collaboration. And I think that that is something which we also need in administration.
I'm talking about the practical application of chemistry in administration. At what stages can you use? This is the principle that you would use of chemistry in administration. Are there any practical application?
I'm not able to.
Aashima, I'm finding your name so unique. Why you have double A's in your name?
So because it is Aashima, and if it would have been Aashima, then it would have been a single A.
That's not the case.
Then in the end, why there is only one A? It's Ma.
It doesn't have to do anything with numerology, no?
No, sir, I don't think so.
Okay, so how many districts we have in Haryana?
Like 22 districts.
What's the recent district which was made?
So it was Palwal.
You are from Mewat.
Yes.
What is the status of Mewat in Niti Aayog's SDG and all these indicators which they are?
Yes, sir. So Mewat is Haryana's one of the most backward districts.
Only Haryana's or across India and the Delta
Yes,
region?
sir. It is
Why
across
it is
India
so?
as well. And that is why it is also included in one of the aspirational districts of Niti Aayog. So it is mainly because of the fact that it is an area which has most Muslim composition. 80% of Muslims are there in that area, and it is been said that there is a perception that Muslims do not want to.
No, I'm
study.
interested in your viewpoint on this, not what people are saying. I'm asking you that why Mewat is so less developed according to you. What are the reasons?
So one of the reason is the mindset that Muslims are not much willing to get educated. So that is one mindset. Then there is a lack of political representation also to them. So even if we have 20% Hindus or the other communities and 80% Muslims, we see that the representation at the MLA level is more on a.
What is the percentage of representation of Jain as a community in Indian Parliament? Very minuscule.
Yes.
They are highly developed. Anyways, any other reason?
Sir, I think the development is not penetrating inside Mewat.
Yes, but why?
So I can see the symptoms that are there, but the only reason that is coming to my mind today is that there is a discrimination that is happening in between Hindus and Muslims, and that area doesn't have many industries. It's very backward in indicators.
It's not the government which is going to invest there. It is the private sector can go and they can invest there. Then why not the private sector is going? If you're saying discrimination by the government, they don't have a political representation and all. So the private sector can go and they can invest there.
But sir, they are also not finding educated youth or youth which is ready to involve in the industries. So there is a so basically it is a cycle. They are uneducated. They do not find any employment.
What's the literacy rate of Mewat?
So it is around 56%.
And of Haryana?
So it is 76%.
What is the Muslim community of that area called?
Males.
Male.
Yes.
Do you know the history of the male?
Yes, sir.
What is the history of the male? As a
So these were
community?
actually the Meena tribals that resided into that area. But during 12th to 17th century, they were converted into the Islam religion. So they were then specifically called not Muslims but Mayos. And they were the ones who actually participated in many of the battles in history, be it the Battle of Khanba, and then
On whose side?
on the side of
Who did they support in the Battle of Khanwa?
sir, I think the local leader.
Who did this? Who was the local leader who they supported?
So I'm not aware.
Rana Sanga against the Emperor Babur.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, one last question. That you co-authored a research paper at Switzerland and so on. What was the title of that paper?
So it was analysis of nuclear DNA to mitochondrial DNA in the mice.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Aashima, let me start with the negatives.
Yes.
And I will tell you how we think that you have huge potential and your qualifications place you on a high pedestal. The trouble is, because you are placed on a higher pedestal because of your educational background,
Yes.
the fall will be higher, from a higher position. Therefore, there are certain areas where you need to brush up.
Yes, sir.
You cannot give loose answers to specific questions. You mentioned, why you wanted to be in the IAS and so on, but when you ask specific questions, what is the difference between history and mythology? You gave an answer, but altogether fluffy. The answer is simple. History is a matter of record. Mythology is a matter of narration. So, history depends on the record, on the written record, not only the written record, but record in terms of sculpture, art, painting, or whatever. Mythology depends on imagination, and therefore narrative, stories, not supported necessarily by a record. So, these are simple things which you should have been able to come up with. The question of ghazal and what, this source, the origin of the Bollywood film is the ghazal. But yes, your point is correct, that there are two distinct entities now, the ghazal and Bollywood. And what is happening now is that there's a question of bringing it back, bringing the Bollywood movie back to its roots. But to say that the ghazal had nothing to do with Bollywood movies is also totally incorrect. It shows a lack of grasp on a subject which is dear to you. Now, in a subject which is dear to you, you have to study it up. You can't fail on an area which you consider a favorite or a hobby.
Right, sir.
Then you see the question of chemistry in administration. An obvious question. You're hoping to join the administration. You've qualified yourself in biotechnology. Now, what is the application of biotechnology? This is that the major initiative of the government. Now there's a Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Biotechnology in the government for the last, I think, about 25 years. But there wasn't always. The government has recognized the importance of biotechnology. And therefore, the application of chemistry in governance is surely something that you have to think. You should have applied your mind to.
Yeah, so I'd just like to say something. The question was actually chemistry.
Yeah.
It was not biotechnology. So I was just confused.
No, but so therefore, now you're, who, as I said, is speaking from a high pedestal.
Right, sir.
So when the question is put to you that way, you will yourself direct it into the way that you will require to answer it. You can say this, exactly what you're saying. You are asking me the question of chemistry in administration. I will answer to you in the broader framework of the application of biotechnology in the administration. Perfectly reasonable. Again, what's pointed out among us when we're speaking, you seem to lose confidence when you ask such questions because they were not along the lines that you were expecting. But you can't, that will not be accepted by your board. Otherwise, you are a perfectly self-composed young lady. I'm confident, but you would tend to get unnerved by these kinds of questions because they're not straightforward questions. Now, Muslims don't go for education. That's a rather sweeping comment. What you meant was that males are backward in education. Here, when you talk of Muslims, you're including the entire Muslim community of India. If not the world, I mean, somebody could even go and say that Muslims, the whole as a community, don't go for education. You know that Kerala Muslims are among the most highly educated people in the country. Education levels vary from state to state. The Muslims of Kashmir, for example, are the highest per percentage donors to the civil services every year.
Right, sir.
So I'm calling them donors, but they're successful candidates for the civil services. So then, and put that against the statement that Muslims don't go for education. You didn't mean that. I know you meant the Muslims of that particular region of Mewat.
Right, sir.
I said so.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're giving a complete.
Right, yes.
And what you've said was an uneducated statement. Whereas from you, for the reasons that I mentioned, you would be expecting a highly educated statement.
Correct, sir.
And the reason why I asked you the question of Rana Sanga and Babur is that is because they always identified, the Mughals always identified the Rajputs rather than the Mughals or the Afghans or the others.
Right.
So this is the interesting part of the and you belong to that district.
Yes, sir.
So surely this is something that you would have imbibed? Because from that also comes across your attitude towards your own people.
Right, sir.
I would like to judge you are from this area. What do you know of your own people? Now you're thinking of serving the people of India and all that lofty ideas, but you don't know your own people. That is the impression you give to the board. So you see, these are all easily rectifiable. What it really means is that please don't think that because you come with such heavy such heavy support based in terms of education and experience that you are going to sail through. Because what you must then think is that no, that is in fact an encumbrance because it places you on a pedestal where you're going to be asked more ambitious questions. Your intellect tutors will feel that you are at a stature who can answer at a highly sophisticated level. So keep it highly sophisticated. You're quite capable of that. Okay?
There are two things which I think you need to prepare. Obviously, they will be asking you these questions most probably. One is that you have done such professional courses and you have been abroad and all. So why do you actually want to join the civil services? So you have to give more convincing answers. You know? Just saying that I want to serve the humanity and all, that will not do because you can serve the humanity in so many ways. Second thing, that because of your specialization, what can you bring to the civil services? So that also you will have to think of some good answers to give. That's all.
Just one thing, while you were speaking also your eye contact is missing. So you tend to answer while you're looking up
And towards the walls as well.
towards the walls also. So and then you think, as in you talk and you come back to the point and then you drift off again. So try to maintain eye contact even while thinking. Just try to maintain eye contact with everyone also because you are engaging in a conversation. So look at others while you are thinking.
You can shift your eye contact to others also.
Others also.
But keep it looking at somebody or the other. So that you're explaining, so you're in conversation.
Just that. Otherwise,
Did it
women
happen-
issues
Did it happen many times?
all the time.
Yeah, all the time, majority. Because I think all of us
Sabne
typically
wale.
this comment.
Also, because you are a female candidate, you are expected to have a certain stand on women issues. So things like feminism, are you in support of feminism? Feminism is nothing but equality between men and women. That various brands of feminism would obviously be a radical feminism saying that women are superior than men. You don't have to go in that direction. You say that it calls for equality between men and women in all spheres. Right, and when you're talking about empowerment, then you talked about choice, which is the right thing. Try to qualify those statements by, choice in every aspect, every domain of a person's life or a woman's life, in political, social, economic, cultural, religious. Give those kind of dimensions also. What else did I ask you? Women empowerment. This is that. Constraints to women empowerment. And I said, what all constraints? हाँ, patriarchy बोल के खत्म नहीं करना है. Patriarchy may be the root cause, But then you can say that constraint is, when you say patriarchy, so you can say that the underlying, this thing is patriarchy, from which many other constraints emanate, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So women are not allowed to go out, or they are not allowed to be born in the first place. So you can go by life cycle, not allowed to be born, then nutrition, then education, then work, etc. Right? So all of that. Think through the women issues once. Right?
Not accessibility to opportunities, the child issue.
Life chances is not right.
When is your interview?
2nd March, sir.
Morning or
Short
afternoon?
time.
So please strengthen all these points which you
Right,
mentioned.
sir. Yes.
You most of all cannot excel because of your high qualifications. You cannot risk not knowing everything about the subject which are your strength.
Sure, sir.
You have your interview in the morning, or
So in the afternoon.
but then you can expect they'll ask you to sing a ghazal. And you need to work on your hobbies, and if you're thinking for more than 10 seconds, it's better that you take the permission of the scientist. Once, 2, 3 minutes. And that's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Very much.